Lawsuits. I think we all understand the basic principle. Somebody gets injured, somebody suffers a damage, and they bring claim against the person who's responsible for that. That's typically what happens in many law cases. But what happens if the person or people who thought that they suffered injury really didn't suffer some kind of injury? Does that mean they can still bring claim? Well, the traditional rule is they can't. But you know what? That brings us to this week's case. This week's case involves a situation with Starbucks, guys that make the coffee. Well, they had information regarding all of their employees, 92,000 employees, date of birth, social security numbers, various other vital statistics. All of this information was located on a laptop. The person with a laptop, unfortunately, wasn't really looking after it, and the laptop was left and removed. It was stolen. When employees became aware of this, they sued their employer, Starbucks, and said, hey, you're responsible for any damages we sustain as a result of our vital information being lost and as a result of being subjected to identity theft. Starbucks said, well, wait a second. The rule is you guys have to suffer injury before you can sue us. Went to court. The court looked at it and said, well, Starbucks, I think you're right. There's no indication of real injury here, and therefore, employees, you cannot bring a claim. Went up on appeal. Well, up on appeal, the court very interestingly said, well, this is a different kind of situation because here we are in the 21st century. And here we are with all of this vital information floating around in whosever hands, and generally somebody who would steal a laptop is not an upstanding citizen, and that information may well have found its way to criminal hands, and that information may now be being utilized to engage in identity theft, rip off various credit card companies, or whatever else. They said in view of this real harm that has taken place here, and the real harm consists of the need for employees to change information, alert their credit card companies, and do other things to additionally protect their identity. In view of that, we find that you employees can go forward against Starbucks and you can collect damages for the kind of difficulties that you have sustained. So what do we learn from this case? We learn from this case that in today's world, in the 21st century, there is information such as vital statistics on an individual, which are so important that if they are stolen, if they fall into the wrong hands, the person or people who allowed that to happen would be liable for any kind of injuries, including simply having to rework all of your accounts that arise as a result of that theft. All right, bring you this case this week so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.